Hi, guys, and welcome to the Effervescent Home Podcast. Shimmy and I are going to discuss something today that has been going on for the last 20 years that people have been trying to find a balance for, and that is social media. How do we find a balance for this? How do we maximize the benefits of social media without falling prey to its downfalls? So, today's episode, our very first episode, is going to be about social media and the impact it has on yourself and your family. Stay tuned, and we'll get started shortly. Have a great one. Well, we are at our first episode. Yay! We finally made it. I think we're getting better. We're getting things set up. So I am excited to say that we are actually rolling. And so our first episode, we decided to dive in social media and its impact on ourselves and our family. So some of the statistics that I was looking at was there are 5.2 billion people worldwide using social media, which represents 63.8%. Did you ever think you'd see that?
No, actually, no. I wouldn't have ever guessed that. Actually, no.
I mean, the impact that just this one little program, it has changed the communication across the world. I mean, that's just mind-boggling to see this. Did you ever get on MySpace?
I did have a MySpace
Uh
account.
huh.
Loved it because it was like one of those things where you can kind of like blend it or make it creative your own. Like someone comes on your page, there's automatic music playing, and then like there was these suites you can buy where the fonts and the background and everything was cohesive to whatever mood you wanted. It
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, you don't see that anymore. And I
No,
kind of miss
that personalization.
that personalization of
Yeah.
that. And it was definitely great for its time, I guess, because there are more advanced things now, like um obviously, they have reels now where you can download your own personal videos. And
Mm-hmm.
you also have that, I forgot the name of it.
Is it on
Rise, I think.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram. I don't have Facebook anymore.
I didn't think so. I thought you got rid of your Facebook.
I
Okay.
got rid of Facebook.
There's a lot of different things that has changed on every single platform that I'm like, okay, well, what's this? And oh, I don't even need this. And all of a sudden, that's like the thing that's booming. And you're like, what? I can't keep up with all of it. It's constantly changing.
Yeah, you
No,
really can't.
I started MySpace, and it wasn't even me that like set it up. Both things happened, both MySpace and Facebook happened because friends wanted to like get with me, and they were like, no, you have to have it, and they just went ahead and set it up, and then they like gave me the login.
That's funny. You did that with me. You kind of bullied me into
I
Facebook.
did. I did. Well, okay. So the biggest thing that I was is when I moved back from Atlanta and I moved down to South Mississippi, and I was all alone. Like all of
Yeah.
my college friends were up in Atlanta having a blast in the big city, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I wanted to be connected, and so that was like a way to be connected with y'all. And so I was really wanting y'all to be active on it.
Yeah, it's in some ways Facebook is reminiscent of what we were just talking
MySpace.
about, MySpace.
MySpace.
So
I know it's like that's like a whole other world now.
it really is, and it was something that came out right after MySpace, but it didn't stay long. But it was one of those things, like, you can literally see who looked on your profile and how many times.
Now LinkedIn is like that. I do not like that with LinkedIn. I do not like that. Yeah, because I like to cyber stalk people. I mean, especially with doing what I did, like with fostering and stuff, we would constantly
Yeah,
just like cyber stalk. If we like found a name, we'd try to figure out who they were, what they were doing, like their whole vibe. Like, are they cool? Can we hang out with them? So I could find some people, and then whenever it would pop up and like, oh yeah, you looked at mine like how many times? I'm like, oh man,
that's
like you were
very,
supposed to know that.
yeah, duh. Yeah, I didn't know that, and I forgot the name of it. It's gonna come to me. And you could personalize it and everything, but like you can see whose profile you're following, obviously, and then you can see other people's profile. So it will show you who's looking at the profile and how many times they were there.
Oh no, see that's not right. No, if you're gonna put it out there on the internet, then it's for like for your friends
Uh-huh.
to look at it at any time they want. Like it's yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
this is
So
not like an open door, and I get to shut the door like whenever I'm not there kind of thing. Like that's yeah. Which brings us to the thing about being like different posts and stuff that people put up. I mean,
mhm.
uh, I have never. I think I might have done it like once where it was like a side profile or something like that, but I don't put the kids' pictures on like my profile picture or on like especially with Facebook like the cover
Right.
photo. I don't because those are public. I don't want anybody else getting to those. Everything else is like locked down for friends. You have to be approved by me on certain things. I try to keep that locked down. But obviously, I guess people can get around that if they really want to. But that
Right.
public persona is something that I'm very aware of, especially being a foster parent.
Hmm.
Is that we couldn't post things with pictures of kids or anything without stickers over their faces, which I absolutely hated. Because it was like I'm not ashamed of them. I want to show them like I am like my own children, but yet I can't. And so I would have tried instead of a sticker over their face, I tried to put like sunglasses or something cool, so you could still
Right.
see like their smile or something. But it was just that those profile pictures. I watch people and they put like nothing but their kids, and you're like, please stop, don't do that because then especially with the day of AI, and people can take those images and do all sorts of things with it. I just get a little paranoid.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree about that. Honestly, if I had kids, I would do the same thing. I would be very, very protective over them in
Hmm.
regards to social media because you don't know um, who can capture those images and what
Hmm.
would they be for.
Yeah.
So,
Because you
you
look back
know,
at some of these kids where like their parents have posted like funny pictures or a video or something, and then it turns into a meme. And then this person
right,
is like living with this for the rest of their lives.
right in life, I still think of that little
Hmm.
girl, she in the back seat, and I never knew like the backstory until I did like some research of it like a year or two ago. She they were going on a trip to Disney World, and that's why she had that face. You know, like that itch
That
of the
kind of
little girl. Yes.
yeah, that one. I know exactly which one you're talking about. That's insane. How old is she now? Did you see?
Oh, I can't remember as far as for let's look it up. If I can look her up right quick. But that little girl was hilarious.
Uh huh. There's a
Um
few that and then I was like, when my oldest was doing like all his little firsts and stuff, I kept thinking, wouldn't that be such a fun meme? And I'm not like thinking anything about it back then. And then now I'm like, oh, thank God that didn't get out in public. And now
right.
he would have to live with it. I mean, he's not an embarrassing kid, so he really doesn't care in a lot of ways, but I still don't want to put
Yeah.
that on him. Especially as he gets into his preteen years and like, no, I don't want to put that on him.
It's the meme is actually called Side Eye Chloe. And
Okay.
so at this time it says that she's now 14. She was 2 years old when it happened. And I thought she'd be a lot older. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's 14.
Oh
And so
man.
yeah, and that's who she's known as. She even have a an Instagram page, excuse me, and she has over 626,000 followers. 600,000.
Wow. So she's totally just either her or her parents have like totally latched onto it and kind of owned it. Did
Yeah, I
they
mean,
do the meme or did they? Is
it was a video. It was a video of them. Like I said, it was a video, and someone decided to, post that on Twitter or something.
So that's
So,
one
but
I haven't got into is Twitter. I haven't.
really,
No.
yeah, Twitter. I had a Twitter account. I did
Yeah.
have a Twitter. Um, but it started to shift a lot, and it became something that I personally didn't want to follow. Of course, there's Twitter, and then there's Black Twitter, and then there's
No, wait. You said of course. I don't know what is that.
you don't know about Black Twitter. Come on.
I don't know about black. I don't know about Twitter very much. So I don't know about Black Twitter. You gotta like educate me. What's going on?
So, like, Black Twitter armies, preferable for the Black community, and which is kind of like an inside joke for Black people, that whether it's how we grew up, or just
Okay, so some of the stuff I see on like Instagram and the reels and stuff like that.
yeah, because it all like transferable to different
Yeah.
platforms.
Okay. All right.
But
I see what you mean.
yeah, so if
Which I
someone
find
did,
funny because there's a lot of times I'm like, that was my family. They would do something or like do like it was you're black if you did this, and I'm like, well, I mean, white can do it
yeah,
too. I just thought it was funny. It was like something with some family dinner, and I was like, yeah, that was definitely our family. I mean, we had some good cooking going on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of similarities for sure, as far as for things we do. But Black Twitter is basically like siblings with the inside joke, basically.
Yeah.
Some of it is a lot of cultural things, and some of it will be familiar with other races. But yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's live on Twitter. At the time I had gone on Twitter, it was um, it's definitely the Wild Wild West. Like everything, like literally everything is there. They have cute cat videos, and then they have kids fighting. Then it's like I said, nothing is um, censored at
Uh-huh.
all. So you just have to be careful with that too.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, if your children want a Twitter account, I would watch that for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but
And that's
now
one
it's
thing is
not as hot
like,
as X. Sorry, it's been X for like 2 or 3 years now, but it will always be Twitter. Okay.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's so many different like apps and platforms.
What
So
else is there? Okay, so we said X, which is old Twitter. We
yeah,
need that one. But
yeah.
you said that there was another one?
So there's so many different ones, but these are the ones I found interesting, or I have heard about, but didn't know I had the opportunity for it, because they're not US based ones. There are a couple that are, but of course the big one with the whole ban of Twitter, not Twitter, ha, the whole talk. A lot of men went over to Red Note, which is a Chinese base.
Yeah, that
Uh,
one's even more so of what they were trying to say TikTok was.
yeah, and so
Yeah, which I'm like, you
yeah.
can't just do it to one. You have to do it to all of them. Like, come on.
So there's Red Note. I was like, I don't know about that one. I didn't
Mm-mm.
want to download that one. But I heard a lot of really great avenues with that, because with Red Note, you are talking with someone from China. You're following them. It was actually bridging. I heard that it was bridging the community for people who are from, of course, China and America, with political views. It some people might be scared off with the app, but at this time, I decided not to do it, because I'm like, if TikTok goes away, it just goes away. It's just gonna be just another Vine, or another
Oh, that's right. There was Vine.
yeah, there was Vine,
Is
and
it
then there's
completely gone now?
Vine is gone. Vine is dead. Vine's
Dead.
been dead. for 12 years now.
Oh wow. Just see how far behind I am.
Vine turned to Musically. Musically only lasts like 4 or 5 years, and then
Okay, I think I've seen Musically. Okay.
it changed to TikTok. Musically changed to TikTok, but TikTok was supposed to be like a resurrection of Vine, but it changed into something totally different. Some of the apps I was thinking about that you may probably not heard of. One of them is called Fanbase, and Fanbase is actually this is owned by Isaac Hayes' son. He is the
Really?
Isaac Hayes the third. It came out in 2018. I thought that was really cool. So
Yeah.
if my
Interesting.
I know, right?
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes' son. He CEO of Fanbase. So I actually downloaded Fanbase, and it kind of reminds me of Triller. I don't know if you know about Triller, but it's kind of in
Triller?
between Triller.
Thriller or Triller?
Triller.
Tr-
Triller. Tiller.
okay.
Basically in between Instagram, and if Instagram and TikTok had a baby. It's definitely for the young people. It was definitely like I did not bridge that gap between when it came out, And but here's is kind of like that, fan bases. And then there's
okay.
Blue Sky, that is the owner of Twitter that picked up that platform after Twitter, after he sold Twitter. Then there's Clubhouse, and it reminds me of the old AOL. Remember AOL chat rooms?
Yes.
I think that was my
Oh.
like social media type thing that I ever
Yeah.
did.
Uh
You
huh.
had to stick that disc in to download, and you hear all the sounds and
Uh
everything, and
huh.
was definitely interested. So
All
that's
the chat
basically
rooms. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
it. Oh my goodness. And then Be Real, that is a French based app. That's coming up, and that's pretty new. I have did a lot of research on it, but it's kind of like an Instagram as well, but it's a French Instagram if you
It's
want
a
to.
French one. If you want to get
And
away from Meta, is it connected to Meta or is it just
Be Real is
it's its
not
own thing? Okay.
its own thing, but you could post it on there like you would anything.
Okay.
Like like it'll be in your bios or whatever. And then of course there's WeChat, and there's WhatsApp, and then Telegram.
WhatsApp.
So I
Yeah, I've used WhatsApp before.
and that's so funny. Like it's a lot. It's more internationally known that
Yeah.
WhatsApp is very popular,
Hmm.
and of course Telegram is.
Telegram. Okay, I think I've seen Telegram.
So the whole thing with TikTok going away for like 13 hours, but come back be from
Yeah,
the.
yeah. You have all of the different presidencies in there getting their hands in it and everything. Now, my sister in law was really affected by it. And so she has
Oh,
not been, looking forward to it because that's how she built her business. So she's very much aware of what's going on and how it can affect her and other people who are content creators, but became content creators because it helped their business. And
exactly.
so that's I could I could see that. um and that's what I mean. There's so many things with all these different platforms that we don't have control over, and we sometimes it's like, oh, it's mine. I think I should be able to say that, but you're like, no, you put your information on somebody else's doorstep, and it's up to them if they want to keep it there or sweep it off. So um, I think that we have to make sure that we understand that
Uh-huh.
these platforms are not ours, and
Uh-huh.
they can be changed, they could be altered in any which way. And if we truly want something that is ours, then we have to pay for um, that hosting fee. We talk about the blog and this
Uh-huh.
podcast and stuff, and it's like, if we record it and make it, then we have to make sure that we pay for the actual setup for it, the hosting part.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just put it out there on any platform, it's really up to them. And unfortunately with TikTok, it's really up to the government to kind of say, this is gonna fly or not, and is it really security measures and all of this. So I don't know. I don't even claim to know all of the ins and outs on that side of it. Especially, I think I had like a TikTok account so I could see my sister in law's stuff, but I don't think I ever really used it. My
Really?
husband loves to watch it. No, he'll
Yeah.
totally like doom scroll on it, but no,
I,
I don't. I've done like Instagram. I kind of like stick with
uh,
Instagram and I stick with Facebook. I don't go on X. I don't do Discord or anything like that.
I had a Discord account a long time ago. That was during the pandemic. I was following someone from YouTube, and it's like a play along with me kind of player where you'll see them play video games, whatever game it is, and sometimes they would play on Discord. So,
Okay.
um,
I think that's what Will does too. Yeah.
oh, really? He has his own
Yeah.
Discord?
He does.
How many
I,
followers he has on? Maybe you should get one just to check it out. Kind of be
I,
like,
I think maybe I did, and I have to
I,
like, but I just like grab his phone at any given moment and go through like all of his stuff. So he doesn't have any kind of semblance of privacy with me. So I have like open to everything, but he did it more for because he had one of his friends move away. He was stationed in Japan, and so
that.
they talked a lot that way, and then other different apps and stuff because that's how he was able to talk. And then another friend like moved like Wyoming or something like that, so that's how he was able to kind of keep up with them because he's not allowed to have like Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. So it's
Okay.
more of like where he can like chat with them specifically. And he did it with like Snapchat for a little bit, and I didn't like that because I don't like it when messages disappear. So it's I've been trying to keep like a really close eye on it, but that is definitely hard because I'm not up on all of the new stuff coming out. But I mean, his little mind can snatch it up really quickly, and then I'm lost, and so I've got to like sit there and do forums and trying to see what's what to avoid and what to you know be around for
Mm-hmm.
his safety. So
Right.
and our safety as a whole, because I mean, if he's the weak link, so we're always trying to check his phone and make sure that he's set up to where he's not a vulnerability. So, but he's also one of those kids that can censor himself, which I've always
Mm-hmm.
found amazing. He doesn't lie about a lot of things. The lying has just become recent, and I think he's just testing those boundaries because he's a preteen. But it's
Yeah.
but he's always been like, "Oh, mom, I changed it because they started saying this word." So he changed the video. If he was like on kids YouTube or something,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's that's been interesting to kind of navigate with him being so open. But my other kids are not like that. So I will not trust them with being able to censor themselves. When I walked in today,
Uh,
to my kitchen. I was out in the back of yard for just a little bit. I walked in, and the littlest one had moved a bar stool from one side of the counter to the other and trying to get the really heavy cake platter lid off so he could get the little fudge brownie things that I made in there that he
oh,
was told that he can't have because he didn't eat all of his dinner. So that's what I'm dealing. And then the whole time, the middle one is like watching him, like waiting him for to get it because he knows he's gonna get one too. So he's like, yeah, yeah, go for it. But he was
right.
far enough away that he thought that he wouldn't get in trouble if caught. He got in trouble.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh no, they're totally working together to like accomplish and take over the world.
absolutely. Pinky in the brain.
Mm-hmm. That's their new nicknames is Pinky and the Brain. Yeah.
Okay. Use Pinky in the brain for the podcast.
Yeah. That's their official names, Pinky and the Brain. Yeah, Pinky and the Brain are quite the duo, and they definitely get into some stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so they will not be trusted on any kind of social media or computer at all. So they'll be like 30, and I'm like, what do you have on your phone?
Right? Let me see.
Let me see it. Who are you pretending to be to get somebody, some girl? They will too. They will. I can already see it. I can already see it. And Will, by the time they're like in their 20s, their early 20s, Will's gonna be like in his early 30s. So he's
Oh,
gonna be like settling down and everything. So
because people nowadays are taking longer to settle down now.
yeah, yeah. I definitely made sure that was my mo. The youngest, I was 40 when the youngest was born. Yeah,
Mm,
and then we didn't adopt him until this past year. So I was turned,
yeah.
yeah, like a month before I turned 43. That's when we adopted our two youngest babies. What's the saying when if you got plans, if you want to hear God laugh, then tell him your plans. That's the one. I had plans. It wasn't this. But I love it. I love it dearly. So,
Yeah.
what's some kind of downfalls of social media that you have found that you have either issues with, or kind of that things that kind of scare you about it, or that you just don't particularly like? Like you left Facebook, um, and I like on your Instagram you don't have a picture of you. It's like a an image. Is it a logo or is it just an image you liked?
On Instagram right now, I have my baby picture.
Oh, that's new. Okay, then you must have just put that one up.
Yeah, before I just had like a logo for the longest time.
Uh-huh.
At one point, I was like, I want to expand my audience and and see if I could possibly, get new followers and things like that. But I thought to myself, like, do I want to be more exposed to people I don't know? So
Yeah.
I made my profile private. It was open for a long time, and the initial part of Instagram, what was drawn to me was it was in its core at the time with the original creators. They wanted to show photography in
Yeah.
the most expressive way
Yeah.
possible. And that's what you saw a lot of people just filled with beautiful images or
Mm-hmm.
different types of images, whether it's from their phone or actual camera. That's what Instagram was.
Yeah.
And
It was
that's,
creativity and beauty. Yeah.
yeah. And so when, Meta came on with it, Zuckerberg decided to incorporate things from Facebook and things like that. So um, I feel like it lost its core a lot, but it's still you still see a lot of like photographers and creators still lean on that, but it
Yeah.
has expanded from. But the downside of social media is, as I mentioned, um, you're not really connecting with people. You're just it's the personas of people. That's
Mm-hmm.
not the real person who you think that you may have a connection with, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So um, you know, everyone always posts the happy part of
Mm-hmm.
it and
Just the
not how
highlight.
they act.
Yeah.
Just the highlights, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
that. I do it too. I'm guilty of it. No one wants to, say, well, I got a flat tire, which I did.
I don't know.
No.
You have some people that like all you hear is complaining or some sort of drama. And
Right.
so it's like you do have different spectrums, but it's like usually it's one or the other. It's either all positive, all highlights, you never see anything bad, everything's wonderful and good, or it's like this person can never catch a break. It's like their life
Right.
must be like one of those calamity kind of
Right.
Episodes that just like always something is going on. Like it's just, but I think
Hmm.
people, certain people, and that's one thing that like I didn't like, and I have kind of curated my following, like who I
Hmm.
follow and stuff based on drama. So if there's any kind of drama that happens that just I'm like, okay, this is not what I want to deal with, is that I kind of unfollow, like they're not unfriended, they're just unfollowed. So I
Hmm.
don't like see that kind of pop up in my feed constantly, because
Right.
when I do log on, I want it to be positivity, creativity, motivation, inspiration. It needs to be these positive things. Otherwise, it's not doing me any bit of good.
Hmm.
And if someone truly needs help, I'm not saying that I'm like gonna just push them off to the side and be like, oh no, I don't want to hear that. I don't want that. But if it's like a constant kind of thing, I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I can't deal with that right now because I got enough in my own personal, field that, I don't really want to see a bunch of that. But if someone truly needs help, then I'm all about it. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't do the drama. All of that extra stuff, no, it's not happening. So I'll be real quick. Unfollow, unfollow.
Yeah, I can see that. I have like 3 accounts on
I was
Instagram.
wondering because I don't think I've seen your baby picture.
Well, no, that is the one that you follow. So I have
Oh, see, I'm gonna have to check that out now.
I have one. It's it's kind of like a junk profile, but then I also have one that for my creative side, and it'll show like some of my work I've done that
Hmm.
or that I worked on, or if I want to connect to other artists, I'm able to do that.
Yeah,
So I have separate, and then I have just my personal one where it's just family and friends.
yeah,
Um, where it's just me, but I'll do like highlights, I guess, of like trips I've been on or pictures I thought was interesting. But I haven't posted in a while. I haven't
yeah.
posted in over a year. So
Yeah, you don't post often, but when you do, I'm like, oh, post more because I want to see like, because I feel like it's like an opening into your life and into what you think is like beautiful, and that's what I want to see is like what
yeah,
what your thought, because it's like it's my way of just kind of seeing like where you're at in your life, what's going on. It's my kind of connection with you because I don't see you every day, and I want to see
no,
you every day. So it's the thing that's like, okay, well, what's she doing? What's she thinking of? Did she see something beautiful? Oh, she shared this, and oh, that is beautiful, or oh, that's thought provoking, or things like that. That's just we used to up in Atlanta. What was the museum? The High Museum. We go up
yes,
there and like we would take in like all of the exhibits and stuff, and we don't we're not around the corner from each other where we could just like hop on the MARTA and go
yes,
down and go hang out with all the artsy people and
no,
so back in the
yeah.
day.
Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. And
Hmm.
then at that cocktail hour, like
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
that was
because we
really
were
cool.
part of the art students, so we got to go hang out with
Yep,
like all of the really artsy people.
yeah,
Be as funky looking as we wanted to be because it was the early 2000s and we were just like all sorts of funky. That was some fun times. Pre
it
social
really
media, very
social media.
excessive.
It wasn't as what am I trying to say? Attention drawn.
Yeah.
Like it's more honestly, social media is addictive. I'm not even gonna lie
Oh,
to
yeah.
you.
Oh,
During
yeah.
the pandemic, because I use it as escapism from the pandemic, and then you know the different police violence and things like that that was happening. Facebook was the reason why I kind of disconnect from that because I didn't
Hmm.
want to see. It was definitely a lot of protests, a lot of things going on, and it was happening real time. And
Yeah.
so it just got to the point where it was just all too consuming, and I had to step away and step back because I didn't want to hear the negativity of it. I didn't want to um, be exposed to a lot of things. And
Mm-hmm.
there's, of course, telling the truth and showing what's going on, but at the same time, you have to say, how exposed do I want to see this?
Mm-hmm.
And how is it going to affect me personally?
Yeah.
Because I am a very empathetic person. And so it definitely impacted me. So I just had to just pull away from Facebook. I just deleted my account. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And, that was my reasoning because, uh, you know, it was just a lot of things that at the time I just didn't like. So I decided
Mm-hmm.
to move away from that. Not to say that, it wasn't happening on Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that, but I feel like it was more political. I'd say
Poli-
political,
I got you.
politicized, um, on Facebook, and I
Uh-huh.
just didn't be a part of that, so I stepped away. That was
Yeah.
my reasoning. But social media can definitely bring people together, and it can pull people apart.
Yeah.
Um, so
Absolutely.
I I think that is you know the downside of things. It exposed the truth to a lot of things, and also it shows propaganda
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of things as well. So we just have to be careful of what we feed our minds in regards to that. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
try and stay away from things like that. I love seeing the cat videos and the dog
Who
do
doesn't?
all
Who doesn't?
the bird videos. I don't know what it is. I think my next animal will be a bird
They're
because
funny.
I really love birds now.
Yeah, they're funny. Look, I was it was the funniest thing. I don't speak Spanish. But
Mhm.
me and our friend Elle decided to go down to Peru. And we were like, I mean, we were both going through like a quarter life crisis. So why not just hop on a plane and go to Peru without speaking the language? I mean, what a like a young 20s kind of thing to do. Why not? So we went there and we were up in the mountains. We had taken a flight from the coastline up to the mountains, and it was the freakiest flight I've ever been on. There's people from all over the world, uh, in this little bitty death trap. It was because I mean anything like small of going around, and then you're going through the mountains, right? So this plane comes around the mountain, and like it does sideways into like it was like you're tilted and you look down and you can see land and you can see sky. Like it was just he's like going around the mountain. Well, the whole time we're like all watching America's Funniest Videos. That's what they're playing in a loop. Like all it's just like
Oh
people
no!
doing funny things without actually saying anything. It was just like
Right.
cat videos and bird videos and all it was all the animals and stuff. Everybody on that flight was laughing. Everybody was. And it was so fun to see we all were able to connect through animals doing funny things. So we're all sitting
Yeah.
there laughing together. And then we come around that mountain sideways and he lands so smoothly. It was beautiful. I was amazed that he was able to just kind of like swoop around a mountain and like slide into the airport, no problem whatsoever. It was beautiful, but it was so fun to kind of be able to sit there with people that you had there's no way you could actually communicate with them, but we communicated through laughter. And I thought that
Yes.
was like one of those metaphors that I was working through at the time, because like I said, it was kind of like my quarter life crisis. And it was fun to be able to have that connection with other people, and then whenever we're leaving we're still smiling and we're still you know having this connection with them as we exit our terminal. And then all of a sudden it was gone, and it was just, but it was fun to have that moment with them and all that. But that those little videos and memes and things like that just it really does bring people together, which is funny because when you're doom scrolling and you see
Oh,
this stuff and you're like,
yes.
oh, and then my poor husband will just get this stuff like constantly. And so he'll send me stuff and I send him stuff. And, all of a sudden, like, it's piled up like 15 high and he's having to like
Yes.
look at all of them. And it ends up, which is funny, it ends up being half of them are the ones that he sent me. So we've like switched it back to each other without even like
That's
knowing. It's so
hilarious.
funny, but it's funny to kind of have that in there. But at the same time, it's like you can be looking at this, but your
Hmm.
kid or your husband is right next to you, but yet you're missing that personal connection
Yeah.
because you're looking at your phone. And I've noticed that more and more is like I want the personal connection back. I don't like I feel like I'm on social media because of businesses and like connections with people that I love dearly but are not here immediately with me every day.
Hmm.
Like you and Elle and other people that are like further away. But it's like you said, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt because there's positives and negatives with both sides of it. And if you don't keep that in balance and in check, um, you can go down rabbit holes that you really shouldn't be going down because it takes so much real time away from your life. And what do you have to say at the end of the day? It's like, oh, well, that's my relaxation time. But there's other things that you could do to kind of have relaxation, and
That is
there's
so
just
true.
different things that can get involved. I mean, I used to read more. Like I love reading and I still do it, but right now I'm like most of my reading seems to be more fluff because I don't want to think about it. So my higher level thinking reading that I used to do gets taken over by other things, and social media has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
So that's fluff is fun. I don't mind fluff, but at the same time, it's like, but is there anything going to make me a better person, or help me be more productive, or help me express my love for my children more, or there's a lot of things out there that I want to be, and being on my phone where my kids are growing up is not what I want to happen.
Right.
So I'm working on this balance because me and you starting up this podcast, we're doing the blog, we're trying to get things rolling. So we have to be on social media to a certain degree. But
Right.
where's that line?
Hmm. Yeah. And you've touched so much on the doom scrolling. I am totally guilty of it. And we're going to put this as TMI, and you can scroll past this. TMI, TMI, okay? You be on the toilet and you just be sitting there, not figure out, have alone, just scrolling, 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 and your legs fall dead because you've been on it
Because
for
you've been,
so long.
all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, how long have I been in here? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
you've been just sit
yeah,
there because you like obviously you want to keep your mind occupied while you do your thing,
I
and
know.
so while you're doing your thing and you're like scrolling and you look up and like what time is it? And my legs are
Uh-huh.
dead.
But
So
okay, before social media, what did we used to do though to take over time? What you used to do?
magazines.
Magazines, but I would read like shampoo bottles. I knew every ingredient in there. Like if there was anything like in hand reach, I mean, you knew the ingredients, you knew what like all of the
Right.
stuff, the sponsors, where it was from. I knew all of that. Same thing with cereal boxes in
Right.
the kitchen. Like, I
Yes.
if it was there and I was bored, I was gonna read it. So what I
Yes.
mean, it's like, what do you do with your brain when you have this downtime and like, what are you filling it with? Is it positive? Or are you learning anything from it? Like I remember cereal boxes, shampoo bottles, that's what I read. But
That's
it's
smart.
like you talked about drama. We talked about doom scrolling. We did talk about me and you before. We were saying you as a kid with what were we talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, the addictive personality. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
If you have an addictive personality and you get so into social media, and that doom scrolling can take over, and it becomes like a lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how do you find that balance? I mean, I have found myself in moments where I'm like, whoa, I have spent way too much time on this. And
Right.
then I will just like back away, like totally. Like, I have no problem being like, no, I'm not going to do this right now. It's still on my
Yes.
phone. I have muscle memory. Like, I'll go to the app, but then like
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I remember and I'm like immediately off. But
Mm-hmm.
yet it's because I feel like if the app wasn't on my phone, I wouldn't like I could probably get rid of the muscle memory. But
Okay.
it's like you know because you know where that app is on your phone. You could
Right.
probably find it without ever even looking at it. It's
Exactly.
because
No, exactly.
you just know.
Which slide is on,
Uh
if
huh.
it's on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, we were talking about lots of things and the tunnel vision I had as a kid. Um, yes, I do have addictive personality, and I've learned that as a young person through family and things like that. So I never thought about the correlation of it being um, what I was watching versus, um, as an intake of something that could be addictive, but it is. So, I was really into video games as a teen. So I had to watch out for that. I would play these video games where it was one player and you go on adventures and like literally be um, 8 or 10 hours. Like
Oh
that's a work day.
wow. Yeah.
Yes.
See, I wasn't
And
into
so
video games. I like Duck Hunt. Because I had the gun and I could go hunting, and then that was it. Yeah, the dog laughing. Like that's the only thing that I really liked. And my brother had the Nintendo, and I would just like beg to do Duck Hunt. That was it. So I
oh
didn't
my
get into the
goodness.
video games.
I did as a teenager when I was like 17, 18 years old. When I was 18, I took a year off of school because I was just done with it all. It's like high school was hard. I'm done.
Well, what
So
do they
yeah.
call it in Europe? Gap year. Gap year.
Uh,
So you're not on your you're not by yourself. I actually recommend that. I think everybody needs something. I don't think it has to be immediately after high school or just one part in like 1 year in college. I think you need a gap year. Like I'm totally with you on that one. It's that kind of
yeah.
moment of in between child and adult, and it's a lot of changes happening all at once. So I totally
Hmm.
agree. You need to do a gap year. But yeah, you took off a year and you were
Yeah.
able to kind of
Yeah, I was really into those video games, the one player games, the adventure games. I love Tomb Raider. That was my girl. I played that a lot. I also played Final Fantasy. That was really good. But anyway, I would play these video games for a long time, and it was just something that I was really into. And the tunnel vision I was seeing as a child, and it just kind of like I've never developed out of that,
mm,
but it just changed to something else. So, um, and it's going to be a struggle for me as far as for backing away from things and getting that dopamine of feeling of escapism as far as for um I'm just doing this to escape from whatever it is, whether I'm going through stress or things like that, just um for the moment.
yeah,
But that
those
being said,
dopamine hits are real. Like they really are. Like it's you'll
so
see something or you like something or you did something or someone gives you likes that that you didn't even realize they were looking at your stuff and you're like, oh, a
yeah,
happy. Oh, a happy. You don't even really think about it. It's just like, but in your brain it goes, ooh, happy. And then it spikes, and then you're like, oh, that was good. I want to do that again. How can I
right,
recreate that? And you're like, whoa, tailspin.
right,
Tailspin.
exactly.
Now, you being empathetic, okay, so one thing that I have always been amazed at you on is how much you analyze your surroundings, analyze a person, and then it's like you know them and how they would react. It's an amazing gift you have. Let's say interviews. Me and you were talking, and your interviews, job interviews, you would cataloging. I guess that's the best word to use. You're cataloging everything this person has around them, the way they move, the way they speak, the way they, uh, certain things that they say, how they say them, what accent they have, what clothes they have, their watch, their nails. It's like, it's amazing to me. But you are able to take all that in, remember it, and then bring it back at any time. And it's like you know more about them than they really know about themselves. And
Mm.
it's mind boggling to see like how right you are sometimes. Like I really think that like the FBI or CIA needs to like pick you up because you like, especially in college, like you would call me out on stuff I had no idea about myself. Like I let that go, and you're like, oh yeah, so you like so and so, and I'm like, oh, how did you know that? And it would just be amazing to me. But do you think like with social media, when you were talking about having to leave, that that's just too much information going in that you're now having to analyze about people? Like it's just information overload for you.
Um, yeah, sometimes, yeah, but I also realized too at my big girl age that a lot of these things are just personas or, you know, just a facade. Is not necessarily real. And so it's kind of hard to, deviate. Um, well, is this true or is it just for show?
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, I'm pretty good at that too because sometimes when you know that it's for show, um, like my grandma always told me, people will always show who they are
Mm-hmm.
initially, and I think that's what happens. Whether it's someone who has a persona or a profile, um, that inside person will always peek through, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
So and just like with social media and um, things that spark anger, they literally have programming, um, the algorithm.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy, peaceful viewings and things like that, they would literally put in something opposite of what you like on there to
See if they can get
change
away with
it,
it.
to
Yeah.
see if they can get away with it and make you feel a certain kind of way to keep you engaged, to
Mm-hmm.
keep you in whatever it is. So,
And it learns
um,
from you. Like it'll switch. Like if you're like, no, I'm not gonna watch that, and you say no, like
right,
it'll
right,
try a few more times. But if you
right,
don't fall into the trap, then it's like, oh, okay, well, let's give her back what she wants. That way she doesn't
right,
leave completely because they don't want somebody to leave completely. But yet they want
right,
to push the envelope and see if they can make you think a certain way and be and bought a certain way, which
right,
is amazing to me. Like it's such
right.
marketing quagmire. I mean, it's like a web. So it's a web that
It
just
is.
mm-mm.
And it's social media right now as we speak. Our phones are listening in and
Yeah.
cataloging. And that catalog goes to all your social medias of what she likes. She just
Yeah.
was talking about, um, you know, sweet chili Doritos. Let's go ahead and send an ad to her about sweet chili Doritos. You get what I'm
Yeah. Oh,
saying?
great. Now that's gonna pop up on mine now. I don't even like chips. What's what? Have you seen There's a commercial. I think there's a commercial where she's like, I think it's getting around Christmas, and she's like, she'll get around her husband's phone, and she's like, diamond earrings, and spa visit, and like all this stuff like right around his phone. That way it'll like pop up a little ads and it, like remind him about it whenever he's scrolling and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's scary to me that it's the connect like it's too much connection. It's just too
Yeah.
much. Like I don't. There's a few people that I want to be connected with, um, but it's just too much. It's just too much. I have to quiet it a lot, especially lately. I'm needing to quiet it. Oh, me. I talked with you about it before, but in right before the pandemic, I was going through some personal stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it was it was information overload for me, and I had one of my first panic attacks. And me and you talked about this because I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't freak out about different things. I don't see myself as a panicker or worrier, but apparently my body was doing it, and my brain had to catch up to what was actually physically happening to me. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a big break from social media. Like, I unfollowed a lot of people. I didn't really post anything. I took a big break because it was just so much. And then the pandemic happened. And the pandemic, I was super happy to stay at home alone.
Right.
I didn't want to go out in public anyways. I went
Mm-hmm.
from being extremely extroverted and loving to go different places to being more in a shell. So when the pandemic happened, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, this timing couldn't
Right.
have been better. And it was when everybody was going back to work. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to. Can I just stay in my little hole? But I figured that was like then me saying I didn't want to grow. And when I thought about it like that, I was like, okay, get your butt out there, Brandy. Like, you can't just stay in a little hobbit hole, even though it's comfortable. Yes, you got to get out of that comfort zone, but still, I learned after that, and like you said, like you put on your big girl attitude and your big girl mind, can
Mm-hmm.
now understand what some people say, and passive aggressive comments
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. You're like, that's their issue. That's not my issue.
Right.
So they need to take care of that themselves. There's nothing I can do about it, especially not on this platform,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not going to solve anything for them posting it. And if I comment on it or if I engage that, it's not going to do anything for me. It's not going to do anything for them. It's just going to make things worse. It will never make things better. Never. Like, have you ever seen a passive aggressive comment open up the communication for people? Like, it just doesn't happen. It
No,
doesn't happen. At that
it's
point, you're shutting down communication. You're not opening it up. So it's not going to hurt. It's not going to help anybody. And I had to like make sure that in my mind that they were hurting. They posted stuff. I had to be
mm,
okay with it because that was their opinion.
right.
And but there was a lot of things that I just had to shut down and be like, look, I'm gonna go in my little hobbit hole and I'm gonna go hide for a little bit because it was comfortable and I didn't want to deal with people at that point. So especially with the physical things that was happening, and I just was like, okay, step away, step away. But it was that connection was like a little too much connection, and I felt like I couldn't unconnect. Now,
Mm,
see if you see this with your own family members, but I
mm,
have noticed in older generations
uh,
the connection that social media has with people, they honestly think that is real to them.
mm,
And it's scary to think that they have this altered reality of people. Do they really see them like this is their like this? Do they see that the people are only putting highlights? Do
mm,
they see that people live a completely different life away from social media? Because there's certain family members I'm like, I don't think they do. I think that they make a connection and they think that it's almost like they're actually there with them. You know what I mean?
yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
we grew up with the internet, so we're well versed, but we didn't grow up so much. Like, my kid right now is going like his entire life he has had the internet. He's
Mm,
had forms of social media. He hasn't, but he has seen us have them.
right.
And he has had that for so long. His is a reality that we can't understand, and the older generations can't understand that separation that we can have, because they fought it for so long. Because look, I remember I am a part of a professional organization for women in construction, and
Mm-hmm.
in our region, I was tasked with getting everybody's chapter on a Facebook account, and that was before they had like um, the business accounts that they have now. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like you had to set it up as a person because you couldn't have it set up as a business right then. So I was tasked
Mm-hmm.
with like helping every single chapter in our region set up their Facebook pages and all that. And these women fought it with every tooth and nail. Like they did not want any part of it. And I'm like, yo, look, it's a living website. Just treat it like that. It's your information getting out there, and it's free. It's a free resource. You need to use it. And so I was pushing it on them, and the same women that were fighting it tooth and nail are like at home watching it nonstop. They have watched my kids grow up. They have been a part of my life where I don't get to see them anymore. Maybe they're retired and they don't come to the meetings anymore. And it's been interesting to keep that connection, but yet they fought it so hard, but yet they feel like they know me and my family so well that like it's like they fought it, but when they got it, they just like overly so. You
Right.
know what I mean? It just
Right.
have you seen that with generations in your family?
Um, yes, absolutely. I feel like because technology for them hasn't been in their life as long as it has with us, they're not familiar with um, meanings like they don't have experience for it, like catfishing, or they can't tell like if someone is being catfish, or
Yeah.
if scamming, or if a video is satirical,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's a lot of creators do that for shock value,
Mm-hmm.
and so it is like if you're not savvy in those areas, or understand a lot for social media, you you can become vulnerable
Oh,
to it.
very. Yes.
So I think that they're definitely vulnerable to a lot of things and the scams and things like that. Or, they'll fall for something like my mom. Like she'll watch YouTube. I said, Mom, you cannot believe everything on YouTube, okay?
No, not at
Because
all.
she was like, she'll be like, hey, so and so, I didn't know he passed away. I said, Mom, he is still living.
Uh
What,
huh.
what, where did you get this
Oh.
information? YouTube. I
Uh
said,
huh.
you not. Now
Yeah,
she
you
knows.
can't.
She knows, and it's like, or they'll say like, drink bacon fat and you'll lose 50 pounds. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Uh huh.
crazy person or some Lulu will make this video just to get views.
Yeah.
And she be like, well, I told them, this bacon fat, because I know that I'm supposed to be drinking it, but I hear it'll cause you. This is not true. This is an exaggeration, okay? An exaggeration reenactment
Yeah.
of something you would say. Like
Uh huh.
it's not,
Oh yeah.
because
No,
you
my I've seen one of my family members where they would post they would just look at the headline, and if they
uh,
agreed with the headline or they were mad at the headline, then they would post it, and they never even clicked on the story because all it is clickbait. And I'm like, yo, you don't like that wasn't even true. Well, it sounds like something they would say. No, then that's like false. Like that's like you don't want to
right,
get into that trap because like that sounds like something they would say would get me into trouble a lot, you know.
right,
So it's like no, you can't just put words in people's mouths and say that it sounds like something they would say, especially when you're talking about politics and all of that stuff. It's like no, that's you need to treat a quote as a quote, not as a well it sounds like. And all these things that you're sharing, you need to take it down a notch. Stop doing the games. Stop doing all this stuff that's giving out your information. Or the little, oh, and I hate this, when they uh, will give like all of this information in one post because it's, oh, let's see how many of my friends will actually fill this out. And then it's like they're given the street you grew up on and your mother's maiden name, and you're like, stop! Like, these are all security questions, and they're just
Yes.
answering it and sending it on. I'm like, stop,
Yes.
stop. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
and
They'll do.
anything that says, like a pity party of, oh, no one will send this, and then you got to send it to like 3 people. No. You're not getting any of that from me. But yet I will still see other family members send that stuff on, and I'm like, stop.
Right.
Oh, because like, that's a scam. It's a scam.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, there's no purpose in that. They're trying to figure out who's vulnerable, who's not listening, who's not really engaged, who will just post and then also have other people engage in these false posts, and then they
Yes.
change it. So it's amazing what they'll do. And they have a lot more money and time than we do. So they're constantly like just targets.
Yeah. Exactly. And those QR codes. Like,
Oh yeah.
QR codes. My dad was like, oh, they sent me this QR code to follow a link so I can, get something. I say, do not
Stop.
click on a link.
Mm-mm.
Not open up a QR code. Don't do it.
Don't do
Especially get it on your email. Don't do it.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
It's all a trap.
Yeah. And they're getting really good at like email stuff. Like,
Yes.
especially like our company one, we were on Teams, and it would come across like, it looked just like our CEO just sent like, hey, I need you to send this to this new employee. He's set up now. And, if I didn't know that, my dad's not going to do any of this stuff. Like, he would never do that and then send it to me on an email. But if I didn't know that, and we're talking about like we're a bigger corporation than a family business, oh my goodness, like people could get into big trouble like following this stuff. They have like companies need protocol for these scammers and catfishers. They got me once. Our cell phone company. I got a call from what I thought was the cell phone company, and they were talking about, there's we have all these credits. They're my new account. That was my thing that I should have checked on. They're my new account lead, and we've got some credits on our account, but we need to be able to put some stuff. Can you verify some information for me so I can get it wrapped up? They were so charismatic, and I see like they even had an accent. Like, I thought that they were like down the street from me. It was you could tell it was a very well versed setup and phishing, and they got me, and they immediately started getting a bunch of Apple iPhones sent up to Greenville. Yeah, they were from Mississippi. It was going to Greenville. Yeah, and we were able to intercept, and I think the police were able to get them from one of the deliveries. But I had to go through like a bunch of different testimonies and stuff to be able to get them. But I was like, I mean, thank God I saw it immediately. Yeah. But they still got, like, not immediately. It was enough to where I was like, what's going on? Like, nobody in here changed, because I had some lockdowns on some of our accounts. And then, but if I didn't have those kind of personal connections with some of the people who were actually from the cell phone company, because it was a more local company then, if I wouldn't have had those connections, they could have got a lot more. And but that was me who knew these things were happening. But to know, like, I think my mom had someone get connected into her computer. She let them into her computer because it was like, oh, well, they were helping.
Oh my
So it was
gosh.
easy to follow it. And look, girl,
Right.
I was opening up my aunt's mail for a little bit while she was out of town. These, especially widow women, but these people have targets on their backs. Like the boomer generation should just like throw out half their mail. Like it just
Right.
it amazed me. I was like, some of this stuff looks so official, but I could tell it wasn't. But if you hand it off to somebody, would they be able to actually decipher that it was fake? And it
Right.
I mean, they've got serious targets on their back. It's amazing.
Even giving your email online with the social media, like now they're shopping. You can do shopping on your Instagram with different things, and there's some
Yes.
products I not even gonna lie. I do shop on Instagram. I've done a couple. I don't do the Temu. Ain't
No,
nothing
no.
against.
Please don't.
I ain't nothing against Temu. I just don't do it personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was able to find a lot of like entrepreneurs, like your sister-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
that get different products that I was interested in. And so I think there's a lot of good sides to it as far as for if you want to run a business, if you want to connect with people. You just have to be careful with all things.
Yeah.
I think it's
So to kind of we were talking about like finding balance with this social media stuff, and so there's different ways to do that with social media fast. We talked about that, how like sometimes you just need to walk away for a little bit. Have you ever done that for like any like religious or personal reasons where you just like, I'm just gonna step back, I'm gonna fast from this, I'm not going to do this for so many days and see how I feel? Have you ever done that?
absolutely, or just cut it out altogether. But but yeah, definitely, I took a break during the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
from social. I'm thinking about doing it again, actually.
Yeah.
Um, Stuff is brewing,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to get away from it myself. But yeah, you definitely need to take little breaks from social media for sure to
Mm-hmm.
re-energize your battery, and it's just always good, as they say, to go outside, touch grass,
Yeah.
talk to people,
Really ground
um,
yourself again.
really ground yourself. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. There's I was thinking about doing that too, especially with everything with professionally that we're trying to do, is like keep it more for the professional side of it, and really step back away from the personal side of it, um, and see how I feel about all of that, especially with the kids. There's a lot more protectiveness I'm trying to do. Uh, we talked about predators and drama and things like that. And there's some family connections that I really want to make sure that they see the kids and everything. But I feel like that text message, like they could call and they can ask for pictures. Because that used to be back in the day. We would do that. They would ask. I would email. I would text pictures over. That kind of thing. Especially before because social media, you'd always have stickers on their faces. And now that we don't have to have it, now that they're adopted, we don't have to have the stickers. I kind of miss the stickers. Because it kind of like, if you really want this picture, then you have to ask me for it. It doesn't. Then now I know who has that picture. So if it's on Facebook, if they can print it out and get it framed on
right,
their wall or made into something, and I have no idea. Like it just like you have no clue. So somebody now has their image, and I don't have a say in it. So
right.
yeah,
That can be.
that scared me quite a bit once I started taking the glasses off, and I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, I don't necessarily like this. So yeah, I'm thinking about that. But do you do it like where you like with Facebook? You said you went like cold turkey. You just like deleted the app. You're gone. Like you don't
Yeah.
even have an account anymore. But
No.
do you think that you'd ever like go cold turkey with anything else?
Um. Yeah. Actually, I did it with Twitter. Um. And probably like 4 or 5 months ago, where I deleted my ex account because it just got a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
Um. What else? I Yeah, I mean, I don't really go on Snapchat that often. I will go on there every so often, but I feel like Snapchat in itself is just ads. It's just
Yeah.
really, it's just
I play with the
ads.
filters. I won't lie. I have fun with those.
Oh, the filters are, and that's one thing you could definitely keep because those filters are way better than
Oh, yeah.
Instagram
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like,
And I'll do
but
those
yeah,
with the kids, and it is so funny to watch like all of the funny stuff that they do. Like me and Will were sitting in a doctor's office one time, just like doing all these funny filters and stuff on our face, and my phone was full of those. But I don't connect with anybody on Snapchat. Like it's not a social media thing for me. It's a
it
camera
really,
filter.
it's now that you think about it or say it. I mean, there was one person I was following that would have literally like, I'm not even going to lie to you, they would have like about 40 or 50 Snapchats in one day.
Yeah, and you're like, "Ooh, honey, honey, get a life."
and and it would be for the entire thing, but they would have like ads in between, and I'm like, why are these all these ads? What is up with all these ads? But I mean, that's how you make their money.
Yeah,
Because ads, you sit there, watch the ads, or skip through the ads. And the reason I was following this person is because I wanted to know more about their weight loss journey, and it was cool
yeah,
for its time. But yeah, absolutely, Snapchat is definitely on its way out. It's definitely expiring for me. I feel like I'm getting a little too old for it too.
yeah.
I think it belongs to a more younger generation than myself.
It
And
does.
it's not wrong. Listen, all apps is made for someone, and it doesn't matter the age, but it's a better of a mindset. I just feel
Yeah,
like at this, I don't see any value of it other than you mentioned.
yeah.
The filters are A1, okay?
Oh, yeah. I
And
know.
it's so
There's sometimes I'm like, "Ooh, that was sexy
right.
right there," and then I'm like, "Oh, nobody else needs to see that one."
So funny, like those filters will change from where you are. You'll get a different type of filter more than you will in different areas, and so that's really
Yeah.
cool about it. But how about yourself? Do you see any apps that you want to like remove or?
Okay, so this is I don't know if I'd be able to do cold turkey because like I don't think I would ever be able to delete my say Facebook account because I don't have like a huge amount of followers, but I feel like it's been like the people I follow or friends with are that it's like a life that I've curated over the past years. So like there's people that I've met along the way that no, they're not like best friends or anything, but it's still
Right,
cool to have that connection with them. So like there was some people we met in Peru at one like several different little things that we would go do. So we couch surfed. So there was I would never do this now, but it was really cool to do it then, and it opened up a lot of like cultural uh, awakeness. You know,
yeah,
being able to talk to locals and stay with them and um, be there in the now, even though we didn't speak the language, we were able to like really connect with people who are from Peru, and I felt like it was it definitely a place that I don't want to let them go because I feel like that's
right.
like my only real connection with them because I don't do couch surfing anymore and I'm not on that app, you know, and I used to host people here and I'm
Right.
connected with them, you know, and they were from Italy and
The
you know, we met
surfing-
people a guy who was walking across the United States. And then, so with couch surfing, you're able to like meet up with people in your area, or you can actually let them sleep in your home, or like if you have like a hotel or a hostel or something like that, you can kind of set them up for it. But there's a lot of different things that you could do in there. You don't have to op- like welcome people with open arms. Like you don't have to do that. But my biggest thing is like if it was like I hosted several females, but I
Mm.
never hosted a male. But there was a guy that was walking across the United States and he was asking about different things. And I was like, look, I'm not going to host a male by myself, but I would love to meet you for dinner or drinks or, whatever. And so whenever he came through, we totally met up and um, it was really cool to kind of talk with him. And then we reconnected again whenever me and Elle went to uh, Austin. We were, it was a week after Christmas, and we went like on a Southwest road trip, whirlwind of one. I've never driven that many miles in such a short amount of time. But we ended up in Austin for New Year's Eve. And we met up with him. He loved Austin so much whenever he was walking the United States that he moved back there. So we reconnected and had a blast for New Year's Eve. And I'm like, that would have never happened if I would have just let that connection go. So
Right.
I feel like I would have a hard time just deleting that. Not posting or not using the app for a while, I don't think that would be a problem. But I don't think that I could physically be like, look, because there's so many memories I have on it. I love going back through and being like, oh, look at that. Remember that day? Because I just feel like it's like a journal. It's my
Yes.
diary of sorts, it's my scrapbook. So to let that go would just be like, I feel like I would have anxiety letting that go. Like Instagram, not really, because it's just whatnot. I haven't been on it that long to
Okay.
really kind of curate. And I don't feel like you really get like the memories and stuff that you do on Facebook. I don't think they have that set up. Um, but yeah, Facebook, I think, because I've had it the longest
Yes.
and I've grown a lot from it, with like I could see the growth from whenever it
Hmm.
first came out. And I look at memories and I'm like, why in the world did I post that? But
Right.
most of them, after I got like those first few years of like, oh, you don't just post crap on here. Like it's like you need to post like real stuff. Like don't post like how you're feeling that day. Like it just needs to be. Remember, it used to have like little feelings and stuff that you would post next to it. I'm like, stop, Brady. That you don't need anything. I started using it more like a journal and a diary.
Mm.
Like that's my scrapbook. So it's I don't think that I would be able to like delete it. That would just
I can see
I
that.
don't think.
I can see that because you're very sentimental, and
Oh,
so I could
very. Yeah.
not wanting to get rid of so much. So, because as you mentioned, all your connections and you had it for so long,
Yeah.
and it keeps that, and I think that's what um, all the other apps that I've mentioned don't have anything like that,
Yeah.
and that's what makes Facebook special, um, in its own self. That Meta or you know Zuckerberg made for himself. Well, people will always compare Facebook with whatever up and coming thing because he's I'm going to give what credit's due.
Yeah.
Facebook's been around since what 2003 or
Oh,
something
has
like
it?
that.
I
I
think I
can double
joined like 08 ish, 07.
2004. That's literally
2004.
20 years. 20 years.
Wow.
February 2020, 2004. That's when he launched Facebook. And
That's
so
insane.
that is remarkable. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that away from him. He developed
Mm-mm.
something that is still alive today, and people use
Yeah.
it, young and old. So
But yet we're still trying to find that balance. 20 years of this. Over 20 years if you take in like the MySpace and the chat rooms and all that kind of stuff. But we're still trying to debate and kind of come up with a balancing act with it, which I find amazing that we're not able to kind of have that. I think the pendulum is starting to swing where people are wanting a little more authenticity in their life and they're not
yes,
depending on it so much. But yet you have, I mean, jobs that when 20 years ago we would have never, like someone trying to be a content creator was like laughable back then,
exactly.
and then now it's like, well, that's what we're trying to do, to a certain degree. I don't feel like I'm going to be doing a bunch of different stuff, but
Right.
it's kind of, it's amazing what that has opened up, what that has shut down. Um,
Yes.
because it was every year we do a with my professional organization for women in construction, we do a block kids contest. So they have like these Legos and they put them all together, and we do this. It's like for 5th and 6th graders, and they have to build something with it. It can't be like a person or an animal or something. They have to actually construct, a building or mechanical or something else out of it. And I will say this year was a lot less creative than I've ever seen before. Like, we had so many different like wrecking balls and all this other stuff that like you're like, okay, you just didn't
That's
want to do this. Yeah.
right.
And so it was but usually they're so creative and it's so amazing to watch. But you would ask them like what they want to be when they grow up. And that was like part of our interview form to go through, and you would ask them what they want to be when they grow up. And I have been a member for almost 18 years, and I have done Block Kids most of those years. I've missed some years, but most of those years I've been able to do. In all those years, the change that the kids have made that go from what they want to be. I mean, obviously at first it was like the lawyers and the doctors and the firemen, and the ones that we grow up with is like, what people said they wanted to be.
Uh-huh.
Almost every kid that I've like talked with, like, they don't care what it is, they just want to be famous. Okay? There's a lot of those. Every kid was like, they want to be like multimillionaires, and it didn't matter what they were going to do. They just wanted money. And I'm like, okay, well, you got to start somewhere. you
Right.
got to have some sort of idea. Like, how are you going to get that? It just doesn't appear. So how are you going to get it? But a lot of them are like, I want to be YouTube famous. Like, that was their thing. I want to be YouTube famous. I want to be TikTok famous. This year was like all about the TikTok famous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do? Like, what? Like, that's great.
Right.
It's a job. I mean, it really is a job now. Like, back in our like younger days, it wasn't a job. That was like laughable. But now it's a true job. And it's a fickle job. It's not a stable job. But it's still a job. And so it's kind of like you can't really laugh at it whenever it's paying somebody's bills.
Exactly.
So,
Hey, bills, my bills, everybody bills.
yeah. So it's funny to kind of see that kind of shift of what kids want to be. All of a sudden, social media has engulfed it as well. So it's like, okay, well, what are they going to be when they grow up? What is this world going to look like? Thank you so much for joining us for our very first episode. We have a lot of great topics to discuss this season to make your life effervescent. You can follow us at Instagram at the.effervescent.home. You can also follow our blog at theeffervescenthome.com. And if you want to see your episodes instead of just listening to them, then you could go to our YouTube channel at The Effervescent Home. We look forward to seeing you next week, where we'll have another episode. You have a great one. We'll see you there. Bye.